Welcome to Manage Blindness. Mel, can you hear me? I don't know if the network still works. Ever since the white blindness began, everything has turned into chaos.
Yes, Abril, here you ironic isn't? We studied management and now the world is found apart before our closed eyes.
That's why we wanted to record this episode, to understand the novel blindness not just a tragic story, but as a lesson in how societies are managed or mismanaged.
And how, even in the darkness, management technique can re-emerge for the most human places.
Management techniques.
Everything begins with total chaos. The government and the army are without a plan, without a diagnosis, without a communication that shows the events of basic management techniques, planning or organizing, learning and controlling.
Yes, their only strategy was to put all the blind people in one place. It was a quick decision made without thinking about causes or consequences. The problem was that instead of planning, they improvised. Inside the asylum, the characters slowly began to use different techniques, like organizational techniques when they decided who will get food, who will clean, and how to share supplies.
When the doctor wife left the group, she applied personnel management technique, and when the group communicated to organize themselves, we can see the use of communication techniques.
We also saw control techniques when the doctor's wife checked that the ward stayed clean and prevented problems from arising.
And every time the doctor wife decided to go out alone, face danger alone, or the project, the group she demonstrated the use of decision-making techniques.
So we can say that management techniques can be used anywhere and in any situation. Organizational diagnosis.
In the novel, we can also see the diagnostic of an organization within the story.
Yes, because the world changed a lot. The organization called society faced a big external problem, the epidemic, and like any institution, it had to look at its environment, its resources, and its processes in order to adapt.
Blindness showed a complete change in the world. Everything changes: the government, the army, and society itself.
Exactly, organizations like people must adapt. The army stopped keeping order and started trying to stop the sickness. They were no longer protectors, they became killers, trying to protect themselves. The government lost its power, and society simply fell apart.
And if we see society as a big organization, it also changes its structure because people lost their routines, their homes, and their manners.
And still inside that disaster, small new groups appeared, made of blind people who learned to adapt, to help each other, and to survive together.
That is organization diagnostic in action. Even if no one planned it, the characters observe the world, the change process, and the change role.
Adaptation is the key. In real organizations, just like in the novel, those who cannot adapt disappear. Re-engineering.
When the character manage to scheme the asylum, the society, the new knowledge exists. That's when and kind of society re-engineering begins.
Re-engineering means rethinking and changing processes to make them work better. In the novel, the characters didn't just rethinking how to move or eat, they rethought how to live together and how to survive without losing their humanity.
Also, in the novel, we can see the 3 R's of re-engineering. We can see rethinking when the blind people question their way of living and relating the orders. We can also see redesign when the blind create new methods to survive, like working tied together with rows or sharing food. And we can see re-engineering when the group of the first blind people builds a new society, one that is more equal and based on cooperation.
We can also see in the novel the different levels of re-engineering. For example, when the government attempts an organizational re-engineering that failed because it was rigid and authoritarian, while the main group of the characters develop a more human and flexible process of re-engineering.
There is also a re-engineering of roles when everyone takes on a different role within the group. For example, the doctor is now only a professional. He becomes a protector for the order, and his wife changes for being just his wife to becoming a leader.
With all this, we can see that re-engineering is everywhere, not only in organizations. In this novel, re-engineering was very important for everyone's survival. Benchmarking.
Benchmarking also appears here, surprisingly enough. This practice of observing others to improve one's own work is reflected in the dynamic of the groups within psychiatric hospital.
One example is when the blind look in different words fight for food. Word number 2, led by the bad guys, becomes strong by controlling the food and using metal rods as weapons. The other groups copy this strategy and they organize, defend themselves, and repeat what gives them power. That is basic benchmarking. Of course, the doctor's word had something special. His wife, the only one who could see, that gave them an advantage.
We also see it when the Dr. White enters the supermarket. Although she can see, the darkness forces her to crawl, imitating blinding people. That is benchmarking, adopting someone else's practice to overcome one limitation.
But here comes the warning. Those who copy without understanding faith, like the blind who smelled the food found by the doctor's wife and try to follow her steps to the storage room, but they don't see the staircase and fall. That is failed benchmarking. Copying without the same skills or information can end badly.
So, this isn't how it crawling. Benchmarking can help, but it is risky if you don't adapt into your situation.
Blindness seems like a metaphor for any organization in crisis. When systems fail, human values become the last management resource.
Yes, in the midst of darkness, the main group, the monsters, the techniques of management. They plan organize, communicate, control, make decisions, and manage scarce resources efficiently.
In the novel, the characters carry out constant diagnosis, apply spontaneous re-engineering, and learn through benchmarking. But above all, they perceive humanity as their ethical foundation.
Because management at its core is this, taking care of what we have, whether resources, people, or hope, so that chaos doesn't consume us.
And Saramago leaves us with a powerful lesson. Blindness may take away our sight, but not our vision. Thank you for watching us. Bye!
See you in the next episode with eyes wide open.